Hello Sagittarius, and welcome to your monthly forecast. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This reading can be used for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, and I'd just like to start off by saying it's great to see you. Let's begin our reading today with channeled messages. This comes through from dreams and meditation, one from each actually today. In dreams, what I was shown was the image of someone driving, and I couldn't tell if it was a car, a bus, or whatever vehicle. It doesn't matter. I just saw the person putting their hands on the wheel, and I felt themes coming through of agency, control, direction. And for some of you, there could be people that come into your life that may be challenging all of those different facets of your life or personality. I think also we could take this as a symbol of a turning point, taking that wheel and saying, I want to go this way, or I want to go back and finish this. The key here is it's up to you. If it feels right, go for it. If it doesn't, no amount of convincing should make you go in a direction that you don't want to. Your hands are on the wheel, your foot is on that gas pedal, and you get to decide if, when, and how far you want to go on any particular path. And I think that's really the main thing here. Speed is not the important piece here. It's really how connected you feel to whatever it is that you're doing, because then everything is going to start to come into focus. You'll see where you want to go next, and you'll just feel this momentum start to pick up. But know this, you have absolute right and control to make any decision that you need or want to do. So embrace that divine right. The next thing came through in meditation. And as I was focusing on the previous message, I asked Spirit, what else do we need to focus on? And I was shown footsteps. Basically just a path in the ground. And then I listened to what came through next, and Spirit said, what's important this month is to set a course, take one step every day toward that sort of path or goal, and remain consistent, basically rinse and repeat. Success is not something that is just an overnight sort of thing. It's, for some people, maybe they're very, very lucky. Most people, they work really hard, consistently, they learn from mistakes, and they just don't give up. And that's basically what Spirit was encouraging here, was to continue with that work ethic and understand that perfection, I've said this before, but it bears repetition, perfection is really not the purpose here. It is about you, go back to the previous slide here, deciding, I want this, taking the reins or taking the wheel and going in that direction. And then each day, if there's a challenge or if there's an opportunity, taking it in stride and then getting back into that chariot and repeating, or taking a step at a time like we see with the Fool. Ultimately, what I was getting from Spirit is, you've got this. We saw, whether by foot or by vehicle or by thought alone, I see things moving forward for you. And I'm going to be here as a champion for you as we take a look at the cards to see what the twists and turns in that road is going to look like for you. All right, great to see you, Sagittarius. Let's shuffle the cards, and we'll see what Spirit has to say now. All right, close your eyes, please. Take a nice deep breath. Let's focus on the energy of the month. Let go of any preconceived ideas. Just be open to what Spirit needs to bring through. Love that synchronicity. We got the Fool right off the bat. Got the Chariot as well. Very nice. A lot of energy around Earth, a lot of resources coming forth for you today and for this month ahead. So let me finish pulling everything. Couldn't help but comment because we've got just a really cool spread coming through. When I pulled this card, what came through is, how did I get here? So we'll talk more about that in a second, but I had to share it so I remember it as well. There's some reflective, nostalgic energy that's coming through for some of you, even inquisitive, because I think some of you had some goals and you're wondering, how did I get here? Okay, let's begin. I already started to hint a bit at the catalyst. As you can see, I'm using the Lord Ganesha deck here, and Ganesha is all about removing obstacles. The catalyst card is about creating action, so you put these two things together. The act of reflection can help you both clear a pattern that doesn't serve or suit you, and then also reveal something that you should be focusing on instead. Take some time for reflection, meditation. It's also a bit of a warning to not spend too much time in that energy of, I wish I would have said or done this, or if I only could have done this, then what would have happened here? It's an interesting exercise, but it isn't going to change right now. Now you can decide, yes, maybe I wish I had done that, but here's what I can do now, and here's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Set a course based on some of those thoughts that you might have had. But we need to get out of reflection into action at a certain point as well. And then again, the main thing that came through was just, for some of you, the turning point, the combining both my channeled message and the download that I got here was, I'm going to add to this. Not only how did I get here, do I like it here? That's what you want to ask yourself. So how did you get where you are? Do you like where you're at? If you do, what are you going to do to continue to build momentum? If you don't, how are you going to change course? These are sort of the exercises that you can ask yourself to fine-tune your direction this month. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at just the general layout of everything. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of cards around time, energy, and money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards that are all around your resources or expenditure of time and energy. And then we have movement cards coming through secondly here. And then, of course, actually, even there were 3 of those. And then activation here of the throat chakra. The one thing that I'm seeing missing here is cups, yeah? So that's interesting. Divine partnerships, also a part of this. All right, let's just take it a card at a time. Overall, I like the energy, by the way. There's nothing overly challenging here. The first card in the spread is the 2 of Pentacles in reverse. This happens when you're torn between 2 decisions, maybe trying to make a decision between 2 people, sometimes a person forcing you to take a side and you don't want to. This can also be a balance that's lacking in your life, work and life, or how much energy you're putting into something that's perhaps taking away from something else. So when it's reversed, it's saying it's a little clearer that you need to make a decision, and it may be a little easier than if it were upright, but what's lacking is saying, all right, this is what I want, this is what I don't. That's the first thing that you want to do, is make some tough choices, cut some cords, cut some strings, cut some activities. Less is more, because you can focus and you can really make a difference. Trying to please everybody, trying to do everything, it's not going to be the best expenditure of your time and energy. So establishing boundaries and balance, that's message number 1. And not allowing people to pull at your time and energy too much. And that is the boundary piece, saying no when you need to. And also, if you need to go back and repeat it, sometimes a message isn't heard the first time, so you just have to say it one more time or restate it using different words so that the person starts to really understand that you mean business. All right, we have the Fool. Don't be afraid to walk away from something where you feel like you're not getting enough support. By the way, in a job, this is something where, for instance, you're just not getting enough. There's not enough people working. There's not enough funds to, buy new equipment and things like that. In a relationship, it's a tug of war. You're constantly pulling at each other. Who's in control? Did you do this? And it kind of leads to that sense of, it's almost more like parent and child or teacher and student. We don't need that. So you can walk away from that as well. And that's what we've got going on here. Sometimes you just can't get someone to do their fair share, or you get tired of pulling at that string or walking on broken glass, all of that. Let's just read the Fool as the Fool alone. Let's take it apart from the 2 of Pentacles. What I love on this one is that motion blur. At the beginning of something new, it may take time for the details to fill in. There's another deck that I use, Rachel True's, True Heart Intuitive, and the Fool on that one is partially transparent. This has the very same sort of energy, which is, it's saying, take one step at a time, slow down long enough to take in the surroundings, and give yourself time to kind of like get used to things. It's like a painting when you're working with a blank canvas, because this is the number 0. It's a clean slate. It's going to take time to fill things in. Be patient with yourself. That's message number 1. Also, the reminder of what I was talking about with channeled messages is one step at a time, consistently. And you don't have to do really more than one a day, but you'll still see progress. If you want to do more, go for it. But give yourself at least a chance to take one step each day towards a goal or vision, and eventually it happens. You may need to flex your independence. The Fool is basically like that baby bird that's flying out of the nest, spreading its wings, finding its way, and having some fun. You don't have to be perfect with this energy. You just have to try. And I really think that's the last piece there, is give yourself a chance to try something different. This is not something you've done before, and it might take some time, and practice makes perfect, okay? Also associated with travel, and easy travel, like, just taking a walk with the dog, or a drive in the car, since we also got the chariot. Something close by, just changing the environment can help quite a bit. 8 of Pentacles, training, education, and also completing something here. I love that it's a tesseract in this one. Tesseract, of course, is a symbol for like a wormhole, or the ability to make it from point A to point B a lot faster. There's a really cool illustration in A Wrinkle in Time where there's a string and the person just brings the 2 ends together, and this little ant can skip the big loop of all that other stuff. So there's actually 2 things that are coming through as I talk about that illusion from A Wrinkle in Time. The 8 of Pentacles is saying, if you take a little bit of time and learn, study, research, etc., train yourself basically, you'll be able to take an intuitive leap, which is also represented by this, that can get you further, farther, faster. So the work that you're doing now, it may seem like it's a waste of time. You may seem impatient, but it's not a waste. There is no... Actually, everything you've called into your life can help you. It's about the application of that, saying, oh, I learned from that. Oh, I tried that. I tried this. What if? And I feel some of you are getting a light bulb that's blinking in your mind. You're like, what if I try this? So we see a leap of faith, an intuitive leap. And I've seen this across a few signs this month. Yours comes from experience, though. Experience, maybe a little bit of intuition, maybe some past life experiences, and some of you just recent education. Trust in it. Don't second guess that when it comes through. If you would like to go back to school or take some sort of training or any kind of knowledge or skill expanding class, this is the time to do it. Finish what you've started. There's one little missing piece and everything's going to come together. This is also a card, like I said, of writing and researching. All right, recent past. We have a pretty powerful 4 of Swords coming through. Typically, this is a card where you'll see someone on a sepulcher. We have the 3 swords above, the 1 below. On this one, the 4 swords are actually surrounding him, and that 4th sword has a bird on it. So keep an eye or an ear peeled this month, because you may get an email, a letter, a text, maybe even a traditional letter in the mail, and this is going to change the pace of everything. So if you're in the stillness right now, you're waiting to hear back from someone, enjoy that time. You've been gifted a little bit of a resting period from Spirit, so you can basically connect with what Lord Ganesha brought through, which is reflection. It's giving you a chance to say, maybe you miss some of that activity. Maybe you want something different, and until you slow down to think, you know what? That doesn't resonate anymore, but I think this will. You have to give yourself space. So if you have the space, enjoy it. If you're so busy that you feel kind of like this guy, like he's falling asleep at the wheel or at the computer. I remember when I was in college, that would happen sometimes because I worked too many, did too many late night study sessions or something, and you'd be trying to write a term paper and just kind of falling asleep, or you were in class and the coffee wasn't working and you were just kind of nodding off. There's diminishing returns. So if you're a workaholic, get the rest that you need. If there's a rest and you normally are constantly, go, enjoy this. It's important. It'll recalibrate you, and I feel like things are going to pick up. And then take a moment to review old correspondence. That little bird in a sleepy card is telling me that some of you might have missed a message. It happens to me too. I get too many of them. So I'm not just talking the cosmic ones. I'm talking about emails and all these other things, texts from friends and letters in the mail. So take a moment, look at your accounting, because we have so many cards around money. Look at your calendar, look at your email inbox and your texts, and think, did I miss something? Did I say I was going to do something and I didn't? Because when you find that missing thread, that can also be when things start to pick up. There's a hidden resource. Now we have the Knight of Pentacles in the crowning position. Knowing your worth and demanding more. It's okay, Sagittarius. You can ask for more. This is not Oliver Twist. Yes, you may have more. And yes, sometimes you have to ask. And if you are in a place where your value is rejected or not appreciated, then it's okay. You now know that you do not need to overinvest in that person, place, or thing, and you can set your sights on something else. It's giving you the freedom to be the fool. Because if we take a look at the center here, we understand why that might be happening. The Two of Pentacles is not enough. The Six of Pentacles is getting there. But what has to happen first is the discussion. That something is missing, something is necessary, someone is sleeping and not doing their part of the exchange as well. You shouldn't have to carry the load. Clearly, you've done the work, by the way. You've really worked to get to the next phase here, which is the Ten of Pentacles. I really love what's happening here. There's something beautiful right here within reach. And the first thing is to say no to people, places, and things that stretch you too thin. Then to speak up and say what it is that you're worth. And then, my friends, to accomplish a perfect balance here. The Six of Pentacles is what I look for in any reading to show you've got enough. Here's your traditional illustration, and it may not be everything you want, but it's everything you need. The key to success is discernment. So here are the scales, here are the open hands, and here's a person saying, I know exactly what my limit is. I also know what's a worthy investment, where something's going to come back and reciprocate and pay off for my hard, time, energy, and money, blood, sweat, and tears. So I'm going to carefully decide if, when, and how much. And that resonates with what we talked about earlier. I also like how it is so much more grounded. Notice on the Two of Pentacles, we have someone here in front of kind of like stormy waters, right? And they're also kind of lacking balance, unbalanced. So what you've done here, what you can do over the course of the month is put your feet on firmer ground and walk your own path. This would be like that, almost like the footsteps in the sand that I was seeing in my dream. So here you're now on solid ground and you're in a position of power rather than trying to figure out which way is up, right? And then we see also in this reimagined version, growth. That's the big payoff with the Six of Pentacles. It'll lead to the Seven next. It's slow, steady growth through not overextending yourself. Keeping a little bit of reserve for you. It's a smart way to live. We always need a little bit of contingency. So make sure you've got that padding in your schedule, in your budget, just across the board, okay? And this also means, and it's positive news overall, but it means you can get what you want, but there's going to be some concessions. You may not be able to get it all at once. You might have to take your time, or you might have to pull in additional people, ask for help, or get some extra money. Time, energy, money, something has to sort of give here, and you can decide what it is. But this is the beginning of a better sort of trajectory overall for you. How are you showing up? In a really, really good light. King of Swords, powerful, outspoken, and direct, especially when reverse. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about as I look at this. The first thing is sometimes we conflate being direct with being negative. Directness can be positive too, so let's not confuse the two. An example of this can simply be, perhaps you're on a date, you're having a good time, and you want to see someone again. You say, I had a great time. Are you free tomorrow? It's direct. And there's no games, there's no waiting time. You don't have to worry about this or that. It can be positive. If someone's doing a great job at work, a boss can come through and say, outstanding job. Keep up the good work. That's what I'm looking for. It's very little words, but like really packed with appreciation and kindness. 3 words, I love you. Very direct, right? So be clear, be direct, say less, but say more in those fewer words. That's what I'm getting with this King of Swords. The other thing, and it's coming down to negotiation this month for you, Sagittarius, if you can put something out there that's enticing for the other person and say, I know, first of all, you're going to empathize with them a bit. I know you're busy. I know there's a lot going on. If we could take 5 minutes right now, I'll be off your back. We'll have what we need, and I can help you with this. We can get this done. So show them that you are an advocate. Show them that it's in their best interest to do something, and really speak in affirmative, positive ways rather than going in with a critical piece, because, again, direct does not necessarily mean critical. And by the way, no is not necessarily negative. You can simply say, no, thank you. I appreciate it, but I've just got too many things that are going on this week. That's it. It's direct, it's simple, it's honest. So embrace all the positive aspects of what I just said and change your mind around. Direct can be positive. Direct can be proper, and it can also be kind. So there you go. That's what I get with this. What is the one thing we want to avoid with this? Because we got both the King and the Queen of Swords in reverse. Talking over another person, not listening to someone, and possibly choosing bad timing to speak with someone. I talked to the previous sign about this, but maybe someone's really tired. That's not the best time to have a difficult conversation. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're overworked, and it's just hard to get the words to flow out because your mind, it's not firing at full capacity. So get enough sleep, make sure the other person's had enough sleep. It might be actually advantageous to have an important meeting over coffee or a meal because that is helping get them in a good state of mind. So think about that as well. And that's going to be a really good tactic for you. Because I do feel like negotiation is why this King of Swords came through for you. Okay? Let's take a look at what's going on around you. This is the tug of war, which I talked about right at the beginning of the reading. So we have the Chariot, we have the horses here, and they're over printing each other, or they're kind of like in two different directions. To me, this is you as the sort of driver deciding, do I want to go this way? Do I want to go that way? The most important thing you can do for your own happiness and also success, not to mention other people's satisfaction, is to know what you want. Once you know what you want, then it's going to be a lot easier to speak with clarity and even neutrality and just say, this is my decision. You don't have to make an apology for the decision. You don't have to convince them. I spoke to the previous sign about the power of neutrality. So when you have something that you want to say or offer up, you can just say, I have an idea, or I've made this decision, or this is what I'm doing. And you don't have to try to say something like, I know this may sound outlandish, or anything like that, especially when it's your choice in a decision. So it's a little different for you, Sagittarius, because what we're doing is helping you get confident to take that path. And one of the ways to do that is simply to state it without prejudice. And if someone else has a problem with that and you've done all the thinking and the working and you're ready for it, it's more on them than it's on you, okay? The other thing here is I want to give you a vote of confidence. If you're newly sort of in this independent phase, maybe you have gotten out of a long-term relationship, maybe you lost a mentor or a parent, and you're used to running this past them. This month, it's just about sort of maturation, growing up, and you're going to be okay. I got that from Spirit. I see a big gold star in my head as I'm saying this, and all the pentacles, of course, coming through are just kind of underlining that even more. In fact, nice segue into hopes, fears, and opportunities. Not just one, but 10. 10 of Pentacles. This represents a contract. This is networking. This is new people and new opportunities coming in your life. And look at how firm and strong this foundation is here as well. And also, like this archway, it's leading to something bigger, better, and brighter on the horizon. As we can easily see in the traditional illustration, the Ten of Pentacles isn't just a card of money. It's also all of the sort of riches that you're bringing in your life in the way of love and abundance and opportunity, because this also constitutes what sort of sits beneath that pillar in the Ten of Pentacles, or I should say that archway. And what we can also see in here is you're never too young or you're never too old, because we have someone in each and every age here. The only other card that has that is death and transformation. So in that one, you have children, you have an older person, you have rich, you have poor. It represents every walk of life. So does the Ten of Pentacles. Something's coming through now, and it could be like a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. Go through the door, folks. Say yes. Say yes to this if it feels right. And if you're doubting yourself, don't. That's what I get. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for change, for growth, for expansion. And this is one of the best cards you can get when it comes to money. Second only to perhaps like the Wheel of Fortune, or maybe one of the core cards, but it's really, really good, okay? So something's coming to completion. All of the Pentacles cards are going in the right direction, from imbalance to balance to abundance. Yes, and also using and leveraging your education, your experience, and your intuition to create that. In the outcome, we have the Queen of Swords. She is a divine partner to the King of Swords. Some of you are in a situation in your life where you're finally connecting or vibing with someone. The energy is very similar. I would have loved it if they were both upright. They are both reversed. So what I talked about earlier is especially true here. Listening skills are more important than what you're saying. And speaking less, but speaking more in those sort of like concise words, that's the important thing too. I think we've all watched or listened to people that they just talk and talk and talk, and at a certain point you kind of you zone out. So less is more, okay? And at the end of the day, I feel like someone wants a yes or a no from you, especially since we've got two of those cards in reverse. So as we look at the expanded forecast, I'll try to help you out with getting closer to a decision if you're still on the fence. We're going to now look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the card of health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And we had a wonderful energy coming through here. You are protected, and one of the best archangels for that protection, Archangel Michael. It says, "Thank you, Michael, for surrounding me with your protective light." And when I'm looking at this, it's a mix and a mingling of two different colors. The throat chakra is blue, the heart is green. We've got this sort of teal or aquamarine. This is probably one of my favorite colors, by the way. Whether it's like a color for painting the room or something to wear, I love this sort of color. And I think I understand why now, because it's about speaking from the heart and really allowing for the healing to be you speaking your truth. And if there's something in your life where you don't feel safe or protected, speak up, speak out. Because this came through in health, it is so important if you're at, for instance, a dentist, a doctor, a physician, whatever, and you don't understand something, say, "What do you mean?" Or "Is this the only option?" Not only that, but really do your homework and your research so that you know what you're doing and you feel really prepared. Get a second opinion, get a third opinion if you need to. Whatever you need to feel safe and ready. That's the most important thing. Protect yourself, because at the end of the day, Sagittarius, you're your own best sort of agent of protection. So the biggest thing that you can do is to research and to ask and to speak up. And by the way, there was so much energy around saying no. If you don't feel right about a path, say no and find someone that is your true advocate and listens to you. Because if someone isn't listening, whether it is a doctor or someone around you and they're not focusing on your well-being, that is the most important piece of information that we could look at in health. You've got to find that sense of being protected and listened to. Now let's just look at the cards from the sort of area of general health. Because this is the color of the heart and the throat, of course we want to focus on the throat chakra. There's a lot of different organs, of course, that are kind of compressed into this space. This can include the thyroid, the esophagus, the back of our neck, and a myriad of other sort of organs as well. So if there's anything going on, obviously you'll want to work with a professional on that. The heart, of course, can just be mental and emotional happiness. It can also be cardiovascular health and activity. So pay special attention to those two areas in particular. Two of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, because we have two cards that show balance, or in this case, perhaps imbalance, it's saying look at parts of your life where you're overworking or perhaps you're overeating or over-exercising, and bring those more into equilibrium as well. And this can also, speaking of equilibrium, it could be inner ear sort of issues or vertigo. And all of these things are things that you'd want to vet out with a professional. But we're getting some very specific things here with the throat, with the heart, with the balance energy. Now looking more at sort of things that you can do in your life. Just speaking up and speaking out. That's a big piece of the throat chakra. And I had a really interesting metaphysical block that happened once when I was at a job where someone wouldn't let me speak my truth. It was so weird. I lost my voice for a couple of days. I got laryngitis. And I thought about it. I wasn't sick. It was kind of weird. I could feel just this pressure in my throat. And I thought, oh, the energy's blocked. And the minute I just broke through, I mean, I had to wait to come out of that, but then I was like, I have to speak up. I have to say what's on my mind. I started to feel better. So sometimes the blockages or the physical manifestations come from something in our life that is kind of agitating that space. So there you go with that. Okay, sleep, quality and quantity. That's all I have to say with the Four of Swords. You need both. You need a certain amount. Your body will tell you how much. And it's also just like how you feel afterwards. And if anything's lacking from that, one thing that might help with it is exercise, because we have an exercise card here as well. Everything in moderation and a little bit more exercise, whatever works for you. The rest of the cards are pretty good. Some of you might be just tired of spending time traveling, whether it's on a plane or behind the wheel. It feels like getting out into the world and grounding yourself a little bit is going to be important. Taking some time off if you've been working too much as well. And I think that's pretty much everything here. Six of Pentacles is also just reminding yourself as you begin something new. We talked about this at the beginning, one step at a time. You don't have to make a massive change overnight. In fact, when you want to make a change for the better for your health, typically it's going to be slow, steady, and measured, because it's then going to be sustainable rather than something like giving up all of your favorite foods overnight if you're trying to get more fit or lower your cholesterol or whatever. Work with a doctor and also allow yourself to have treats and cheats. Even if you're like exercising, you know that most people that work out have a day where they're like, okay, this meal, I'm going to do whatever I want to do. So you'll figure it out, but everything in moderation. That's really the feedback, with the standard disclaimer. I am here to help you see where the energies might be out of balance. You'll work with professionals to figure out how, when, and why. Okay, that's everything for health. Let's move on to wealth, resources, life purpose, and career. And we have a lot to talk about here because most of the cards are around wealth. Just to sum it up though, knowing that you can't do everything and picking what you need or want to do brings in more abundance, and asking for more. That's the big takeaway. Additionally, let's look at your oracle card and talk about that for a second. We have honesty coming through in the area of wealth, and it says, I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Be honest with yourself, with what you want, with what you need. Ask for it, as we see here in the crowning position, if it's important to you. Seek the same honesty from others. Again, I can't always expect it, but you can at least ask it, ask for it, and you can see how they show up, because that's going to be a big litmus test. But the big takeaway, and we don't have to spend too much time on this card, it's really just a gut check with yourself. Are you doing all that you can do? Do you like what you're doing? Do you like the direction that you're in? And if you don't, being honest with yourself and saying, okay, it's okay. This is how I feel. You don't have to apologize to yourself for your feelings. You just have to decide what you're going to do about it. Very briefly, the other thing with honesty, it's a very attractive quality. When you work with people that have honesty and integrity, it makes you feel safe. It makes you feel like, I want to do more with that person in love, in life, in business, etc. So it actually makes a lot of sense that this would come through in this category, because it's a magnet of sorts. All right, now let's break this down, take a look at 3 categories, and we'll get a little bit more granular. So we'll start off for people that are working or self-employed, those that are looking for work, and those that are either students or retired. So if you are working, and then I'll talk about any self-employment energies that come through. But if you're working, here's what I see. You currently have a job. I mentioned this already. Some of you are understaffed. So you're doing the work of 2 or more, and that's frustrating. And maybe there's a lot of, some of you are going between 2 offices, or you're just moving all the time. So I get this sense of fatigue that's setting in. And if you do anything where you're working with machinery, or it's manual labor, or there's something important, even detail-oriented work like accounting, you're going to miss something and you can't do that. So you have to speak up this month if that's going on, so that accuracy and just honestly an even exchange for the work that you're putting in there is accomplished. So it's a really good time for you to speak up. Remember what I said, direct is not negative. Direct is, I've been putting in overtime for 6 months. I've been contributing to our success by doing this, this, and this. I'm always positive. I'm always here. I'm also exhausted and I can't keep doing this. Let's focus on ways to fix this. I need this. Like, just state your claim. It's not negative. It's just facts. Put it all fact-based. You can also just go really, really simple and say, I need support. This is what I want. This is what I need. Can we do this? So quick, simple, direct, positive. And also remember, you got to make it worth the other person's while. If I can get some support here, I can do more of this. I can finish this project. I can help you with that. It'll free me to focus on the big picture. Okay? Some techniques for some of you. I know everybody's in a different role, but that's some sort of negotiation has to come through. And it may take a couple of attempts. This person doesn't always listen when I'm looking at bosses and coworkers and just the organization overall. There's a lot of talking, not a lot of listening. That's what I see. But I do see a bunch of resources. I think it's worth putting it out there that you need some support or you want something different. Or for those of you that want to reach towards a new pinnacle, you can get it. And this is a really good card. We can definitely see upward mobility with that. Okay? If you're self-employed this month, I think some of you are you have too many hats, and it's time now to expand your business, to get seasonal help, to hire someone, or to cut something out of what you're doing. So if you can't get help, then you just want to focus your energy on doing one or two things really, really well and let that other thing go. See where the return is. If you're not getting the return and it's exhausting you, you have to focus more. I do think things are going to pick up though by month's end. So we see crickets, things slowly starting to pick up, balance and having enough and then more than enough. But some of it is going to be your own discernment saying, let's do this. Let's not focus on this anymore. It's not where the action or the interest is. And not to second guess yourself. Really being clear on direction is going to be good for you, your coworkers, your customers, all of that. Okay? If you're looking for work this month, what's coming through? Well, first of all, there is definitely, I can see frustration for some of you where you've been putting yourself out there but not hearing back. This is also saying don't be afraid to try a new direction completely, to turn the wheel and say, I want to try this, I want to try that. Bubble up any sort of hidden skills or talents that you don't mind using or that you would like people to know about. This isn't a time to be humble. I want you to be honest, but don't sell yourself short with the Eight of Pentacles. There's something here worth sharing. If you just finished a degree and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, but you are, you just need to sort of like put it out there and put it on the resume. There's something that's being hidden a little bit. The other thing here is there may be a couple of options on the table for you. Really weigh out work-life balance. What is the exchange between the difference of the Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles? One of them may just require a lot of travel, or you have to do a lot of wrangling, a lot of managing, because the Chariot is typically a card where people depend on you or you have to oversee them. If you really want to just have more of a hands-on job and you don't want to have the overhead that is part of management, you get paid more, but you have a lot more stress and responsibility. That's okay. You don't have to do that. Not everyone has to manage. Moving up the sort of ladder isn't for everyone, and you can be very successful in your particular role. I mean, you could be the lead engineer or something like that. You don't have to be the head of the division because maybe your thing is invention and ingenuity and all that. So decide what you want. And remember, you're not trying to convince anyone else but yourself what success is. So create your own definition for that because it's yours to have. One more time, let's just take a look at the Ten of Pentacles and also the way it was illustrated in this deck. It's a window of opportunity. This one is not specific to any walk. It could be those that are working, those that are looking for work, or those that are retired. There's something that's coming to your attention. There is a portal that is opening up. I really am encouraging you to go for that. I had a great healer once that helped me when I was at that precipice when I decided to leave my job. And he said, you've got so many exciting things that you've been talking about, but you've been talking about them for a while. He said, I don't know how to state this other than this. There's a connecting flight. It's leaving soon. If you don't do something now, I don't know when it's coming back around in your life. It's really a good time for you to make the leap, but you have to decide. And if not now, then when in this lifetime? And that really woke me up. He didn't scare me. He inspired me to look at living in the now, not maybe tomorrow, maybe one day. And he was right. And I don't regret taking the leap at all. So because you've got this beautiful 10 of Pentacles, and it represents a portal, something that you have to go through and that you have to decide. I'm going to give you, that sort of smaller version of this, which is if it's in front of you, if you're excited about something, take the leap now. And for those of you that are in this space of looking for work, why not, if something isn't working, because we had the Four of Swords, really go for something different? Or if you were like me and you quit knowingly and wanted to kind of find something else, before I did anything else, I'm like, I think I just want to be my own boss. I think I just want to try something new. And I'm going to be really, just going to be really brave and take a lot of risks. So I prepared myself with the abundance. You'll want this if you do that. So that can also be what this is about. Create the 10 of Pentacles for yourself so that you can go wherever you want to. That's the last piece for that. So can you find a job this month? Yes. You might have to really focus at getting someone to listen to you. There is management opportunities for those that are seeking it. You have to balance out if you're ready to take on the extra responsibility. You might have to move to get this job, and you probably want to bubble up some of your skills. For those that are students this month, I think the main thing here is you may be this could either be a vague major or having too many credit hours. The Two of Pentacles, again, is stretched too thin or not concise enough. So if you started off as a double major, but you kind of think you want to go down one path more, listen to that. If you have way too many credit hours, take one off, if not this semester, next. Give yourself extra time so you can just really, it's about absorbing knowledge, not going through at the pace of a rocket ship, right? So slow and steady. That's the main thing. Are you going to succeed? Yes. Are there some choices that could be better? Yes. So do less, do it better. Ask for help if you need it. Get a tutor if you need one. I think you're going to find your way into a really good space. If you're bored or you don't like something, really listen to that when you're going to school, because that means that you need to, I guess there's some fine tuning that needs to be done in the overall approach or specialty. So maybe the degree is okay, but the specialty needs to be focused on. You'll figure it out. And it looks like you have support to do that. Let's shift the focus over to those who are retired. I always like to start off by saying congrats on reaching that level of sort of like achievement in your life. Now let's see what you can do with the extra time. For many of you, you are actually looking at your overall resources and thinking, maybe some of you want to sell something, because Knight of Pentacles in reverse could indicate either moving an investment from one place to another or basically taking one and selling it. So it does look like that's beneficial. Make sure that you're weighing out the pros and cons of that, because the Two of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles are timing, pros and cons, etc. And choose the right window. Work with an expert. Get two opinions. That's what I see here. And we actually have a Queen of Swords attached to the more beneficial outcome. So this could be just a really astute expert coming through with the divine feminine energy. Since I got both, we can actually probably read gender a little bit more. So there may be a really great businesswoman that can help you out with this decision. Lean on that, if you will. And by the way, you are still in demand. As we can see with the Ten of Pentacles here, there's a lot of people that could benefit from your insight. So if you wanted to do a little bit of moonlighting and, advise someone, that definitely is in the cards here. Is travel available to you? Yes, the Two of Pentacles is a travel card. But as we can see with this one, you want to be mindful of what you're paying. If you can do it further ahead, book in advance, that's key. Get cancellation insurance. Whenever I get the Two of Pentacles coming through, as we can see here, inclement weather can be a part of this. So make sure that you're not getting a non-refundable ticket. Get something that can be rescheduled. And if you are purchasing hotel arrangements and you have luggage and all of that, use a credit card that has insurance, or buy travel insurance. Very rarely would I say anything that specific, but with the Two of Pentacles, yes. Is there anything else that's going on? Learning something because you want to. It's a lot of fun when you're retired. This can be an arts and a craft class. This can be going to anything that you want to. It does not have to be degree seeking. It is just something where you're like, wow, I've always wanted to do that, and now I can do it because my time is my own. Really lean into that realization. Your time is your own. Have some fun with it. Get out and see the world a bit. And it doesn't have to be a matter of getting on the plane. The Fool card is explore the city in which you live, spend some time with the people that you like, mix and mingle, have some fun, let the inner child come out. Okay, let's look at love and relationships. The totem for you this month is the beautiful sea turtle. And sea turtles actually move a lot faster than the cousins that they have on land. So the fact that this card is in the reverse state is saying, don't rush things and don't feel like you have to force the timing. Let's put it that way. Whether it's fast or slow right now, it feels like things are divinely decreed and they're exactly what they need to be. So don't push it. And this is going to be important in all relationship types. And also it's saying don't get pushed into doing something that you don't want to do. So I'll keep going back to that card, but what I want to look at first is we're going to break it down into 3 categories. People that are in a relationship, looking for love, or happily single, starting off with those in a relationship. So the sea turtle not only is a speed sort of metaphor, but also the hermit, because it carries with it everything that it needs. It's kind of in that little cave. It's also the Fool. It's a combination of the Fool and the hermit. Very, very sort of independent energy, and something that doesn't like to be told how quickly or how slowly to do something. That helps a lot actually across the board. So that's one thing in relationships. It feels like both of you have a very strong point of view, and we talked about that with the King and the Queen of Swords. And it feels like there's crosstalk going on. What I like here is that there's a lot of investment in making this work, and it's just about achieving better balance. So in the best of relationships, what I see is you're putting in the work, but one or both of you are either a little tired, you're traveling too much, 2 cards that can represent travel. You're also so tied up in maybe your own activities that there's not a lot of meeting of the minds. I told you earlier, we're missing cups. We need a cup card in a successful relationship because we need to show the expression of love or emotions. So this month, do yourself and do your partner the favor of taking a moment, reflecting, slowing down the schedule, being with each other, enjoying what you've worked so hard to create here with the 10 of Pentacles, and taking turns listening. The other thing here, and this is the only thing that's going to exacerbate really solid relationships, is trying to force, convince, or push a partner to go down a path that they don't want to. You can't do that. You can only sort of show the path and give the person the key, but they have to open the door, okay? I think as long as you do that, it'll be all right. I definitely think financial matters are something that will come into the point of discussion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lots of cards in this. Over half of the spread is financial in origin. So definitely talk about finances. And give and take, just evening out the give and take, okay? In relationships where things are a little bit strained, I think the main thing here is, again, it could be travel or work that is just pulling at the strings here, and there has to be maybe a little bit more concession on one or both sides. And that's most of what I see. And it's interesting that honesty came through in wealth, and it's kind of, we're looking here at maybe how much do you really need to put into something, or how important is this one financial decision? A little bit of that is spilling over, and the sea turtle is coming through saying, slow down there, focus on, really communicating a bit, make sure that you're not getting pulled too far in any given direction. Okay, now let's move from those in a relationship to those seeking one. If you're looking for a relationship, the universe is giving you a reality check. The 2 and the 6 of Pentacles show a lot of energy going in other directions at this time. Can you meet someone? Sure, but it's probably going to be work or school or activities, because it feels like all the energy is around that. The other thing here is the type of person that you're bringing in seems to challenge authority. And we talked about that at the very beginning. In fact, I'll pull up the card really quickly here, because I think the more you can work on some of these things, the higher the frequency of the partnership that you can bring in. So agency and control and direction. So someone may come in and say, well, why do you want to do that? Or why won't you do this? And what you can really start to do is feel that sense of, I'm doing it because this is me. And if that's not good enough, or if that's not what you want, that's okay. That's okay. But that's not going to make me change or force me to go in a different direction. Be unapologetically yourself. Be authentically you. And that needs to be good enough for yourself and for others, okay? That's the main thing that I see there. Otherwise, you pull in someone that's always going to challenge, question, or try to push you in a different direction. It looks like air energy is coming through really strongly. We have both a King and a Queen of Swords. So the divine partnership is basically air. But what I'm seeing here is listening or speaking skills may sort of be not exactly what you expected. Either they're too direct, or they talk too much, or they don't listen enough. Something is off a little bit. So even if you find a perfect physical or flirtatious match, that may still get in the way, because communication is one of the most important things when it comes to a relationship. There's some people from your past coming through as well. I think the important thing here is just to focus on settling a bit. Not in the relationship, but getting settled in your life. Letting the dust settle is what I should say. Getting grounded. So get your finances, your activities, work, etc., your energy grounded. And once the dust settles, then I feel like you're going to be pulling in a partnership that is more akin to where you're at. I think right now it's better to sort of like just sit still for a moment. Towards the end of the month, you're going to be in a much better place. Finally, that person that you're pulling in is serious. The Ten of Pentacles is a card of marriage, wanting to basically create the family that you see in this card, okay? So if you've been waiting for someone that's ready, you might either meet someone that already has a big family, extended family, maybe has a child, or wants to start a family quickly, okay? For those who are happily single, good for you. Here's what I see for those. If you're happily single, again, kind of just doing what you want to do. The Fool is carefree, but it's also a travel card. So for those that are unattached, traveling definitely comes forth. And then a lot of energy around personal development and financial stability. Possibly a lot of energy around investment. I know we're not looking at money anymore, but that's where it's at, because I'm seeing that. And maybe connecting with a really great group of people, or someone who knows some people that can kind of take you to the next level when it comes to personal development or career. There's a lot of energy around money coming through, so take that as you will. One last thing, by the way, there could be a birthing energy coming forth. Some of you, it doesn't matter if you're in a partnership or not, you may be spending more time with children, or some of you just had a kid. And I forgot to mention that earlier, but it came through, and I wanted to say it before we left love. All right, now let's move on to the Destiny card. And basically, Destiny is your overarching trajectory. And what we see here is things are going to pick up. The Gazelle is one of the fastest moving cards. That's why when we had this stopping and starting energy with the Sea Turtle, where it can move fast, but if it's in reverse, it's sort of like stalemating a bit. Don't worry. If things are irregular when it comes to sort of like predictability of speed or schedule, it feels like by the end of the month, things are moving. That's why I said for those that don't have a lot going on now, enjoy it, because I do think this is going to be a busy, productive, and opportunistic month overall, okay? Have some fun, get out there and see things, enjoy a bit, okay? Let's take a couple moments now and go deeper into sun, rising, and moon sign messages for this month ahead. Sun, rising, and moon. All right. So let's begin first with sun sign messages. We have the Eight of Cups coming through. So the Eight of Cups in reverse is a chance to make or break a cycle. It's also really underlining the importance of taking a break or a vacation. So we can see someone there getting away from all of this, doing what we saw here with Lord Ganesha, which is the act of reflection and meditation, and also doing what I was encouraging you to do here with the Four of Swords. Sleep on it. Sleep on a major decision. And if there's anything worth doing, do it right the first time. Take an extra day and think about it. By the way, if there's something really important, and again, this could be even involving health decisions, and you're not sure in the moment, pause. Say, I need to find out more before we do this. So this is a card that's saying you don't have to give up, you don't have to stop, you don't have to quit. You just might need to walk away and get clear mentally on something first. Some of you are just overdue for a vacation, and this is definitely what that card can be about. It's also a card of sabbaticals, saying, I want to try something different, and you can keep one foot in and one foot out. It's kind of like the god Janus. And this means that you do not have to leave something full stop. You could just say, I need to pursue this, but I'll come back afterwards, and if there's still an open door, I'm open to working or connecting with you. You have that potential this month too, okay? There's a lot of nuances in the Eight of Cups. It's positive and it's filled with possibilities. And it reminds you, speaking of agency, the freedom to take a break, to spend some time, to do some research, and then come back and make your decision. Okay, rising. You've got this. This is working all the way up to the apex of this pyramid. Nine of Wands, hard work, pushing to the finish line, not letting anybody push you in a direction that you don't want to be. It is a card of perseverance. That's really what this is tantamount and equal to. And I love that there's almost this, it's almost like he's playing an instrument here as we're moving up the pyramid. So find some fun if you can, or find a rhythm when you're doing something, and it's going to help you through the last push, because the 9 of 10 and 10 of Wands can be a little bit of a difficult last leg of the journey. 9 of Wands, it's more sort of like, oh, I've been through a lot. 10 of Wands, it's like, are we there yet? But both of these are showing you are so close. You owe it to yourself to finish anything you started, and you can do so with the assurance that it's worth it, okay? Now we have the Moon card here, and we have Love, the first water card that we've gotten in a while aside from the Sun one. So the Page of Cups, this is really about love and relationships. What I like is this page has the cup on top of a box. And it's reminding you that unconditional love is not boxed into certain categories, certain expectations, certain ways of being or thinking. So get yourself outside of that box, let others be outside of that. It's really just unconditional love. Pages, send and receive. So you might be receiving some good information. You might be putting something out into the world. This card reminds you that if you're going to release, deliver, or announce something, it should be in a place of love, joy, and excitement. And until you feel it, don't do it. That's kind of my mantra, and that's why I took so long for my podcast. I really wanted to feel that sense of, this is the right guest, this is the right podcast, I did the best I could, I can't wait to share it, then I did it. So whatever you're doing in life, put it out there, birth it with love. And this is the birthing card, and this is the love card, okay? And don't let anyone push you to birth, announce, or create until you feel that sense of love and joy. If you're looking for love this month, yes, this card tells you it can come in. Same challenges and opportunities that we talked about earlier, but yes, you can find it if you're looking for it. And generally, this is just a very attractive card. So people are open to hear what you have to say. They like you. Your personality or your presentation can take you to that next level. All right, folks, let's take a look now at the final question and final card. This is your chance to ask a question. Anything that I didn't already answer, let's see what Spirit has to say. Focus clearly and specifically on that question right now. And we have the Knight of Wands, and the card is in reverse. It's still a very positive card. The Knight of Wands is one of, again, taking an idea to the next level, taking it to a larger audience. In reverse, it's basically saying, I believe enough in this that I'm not going to let naysayers get me down. There's a time where stubbornness is good. So for those of you that need to make a change, need to push through something, Knight of Wands in reverse is saying, just really get your headspace in the right place. It's kind of what athletes do before an important game, and the coach is in there kind of like psyching them up, and this is what's going on. You're getting into that state of, I can do this. And yes, you can. Keep an open mind to new ways and new avenues, because that's what I saw in channeled messages. I saw a new road. There might be an easier path. So if you ask, or if you look around a little bit, there may be something a little easier, and that's the one nuance that I'll leave with that. So that brings this reading to a close. If you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, do me a favor, please hit the like and subscribe and opt into notifications. That way you won't miss out on any future videos. In addition to that, you can follow me across social media. It's always my full name at Nicholas Ashbaugh. That's a great way to just have a backup to the notification system on YouTube, which is less than perfect. I always put a relevant post on major platforms, so you'll never miss out if you do that. You can always go to my website if you need confirmation on my user handles or what's official. Remember, just as common sense and safety, I don't send any direct messages, I don't send out friend invites, and I don't offer products and services through direct messages. Nor do I offer any private readings. So if anybody does any of those things, block, report, let me know about it. If you want to show support, you can do it right here on YouTube through a super sticker, super thanks, or a membership. And that allows me to create new and exciting things like my podcast, which you can also watch on the podcast tab here on YouTube. So thanks for everybody for all of your support. I do appreciate it. My schedule is uploads on every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, live streams every Sunday at 9:15 a.m. And I also drop out the daily one-card readings. You can find those on the Shorts tab. And that, my friends, is everything. Thank you for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube, for spending some time with me. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Take care.